Silence is one of the most misunderstood tools in relationships, work, and family systems, and yet it's something every one of us encounters across our lives. Hi, I'm Alec. Welcome back to Mind, Body, Spirit podcast, The Power of Silence.
Hi, and I'm Jen. Yes, and what makes it so complicated is that many people grow up believing silence automatically means avoidance, immaturity, or even weakness.
We're often taught that healthy communication means responding, explaining, and engaging no matter the cost.
That if we don't respond, we're being rude, irresponsible, or emotionally unavailable.
But sometimes silence is actually the healthiest boundary available.
Not every message deserves a response.
And responding to everything can unintentionally reinforce unhealthy dynamics.
A healthy exchange allows space for dialogue, respect, and mutual understanding.
An unhealthy dynamic demands reaction.
It requires constant engagement, emotional labor, or compliance just to keep things from escalating.
And when someone repeatedly instructs, criticizes, provokes, or attempts to control, responding gives them continued access.
Silence, when chosen intentionally, communicates something very clear, that you are no longer participating in that dynamic.
What's interesting is how our relationship with silence changes across different stages of life.
In your 20s, silence often feels scary.
Yes, in your 20s, you're still learning who you are, and silence can feel like you're doing something wrong.
There's a lot of pressure to explain yourself, to be liked, to stay connected.
You might respond to texts immediately, over-explain your choices, or stay in conversations that feel uncomfortable just to avoid conflict.
Silence in your 20s can feel like rejection, even when it's self-protection.
Many people at that age confuse availability with kindness.
And they learn, often through exhaustion, that constant engagement can come at a cost.
In your 30s, things often start to shift.
You may have more responsibilities, work, family, long-term relationships, and less emotional energy to spare.
Silence begins to feel less like avoidance and more like necessity.
You start to notice patterns.
You see which conversations are productive and which ones leave you drained.
You may still feel guilt when you don't respond right away, but you also begin to recognize that you can't pour into everything and everyone.
Silence in your 30s is often the beginning of discernment.
It's not about shutting people out. It's about choosing where your energy goes.
In your 40s, silence often becomes more intentional.
There's usually a deeper understanding of yourself by this point.
You've likely experienced relationships that worked and relationships that didn't.
You've seen what happens when boundaries are ignored.
Silence becomes less emotional and more grounded.
You're no longer trying to prove your point in every situation.
You don't need everyone to understand you.
And you begin to trust that stepping back doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're listening to yourself.
In your 50s, silence often feels like wisdom.
There's a clearer sense of what matters and what doesn't.
Many people in this stage stop engaging in unnecessary conflict altogether.
They recognize that peace is not passive.
It's an active choice rooted in self-respect.
Silence becomes a way of protecting emotional health, not managing other people's reactions.
And by the time people reach their 60s, silence often feels like alignment.
There's less urgency to explain, convince, or defend.
You know who you are.
You know what drains you.
And you're more comfortable allowing distance where there is disrespect or emotional harm.
Silence at this stage isn't cold.
It's clear.
Across all these ages, the key distinction remains the same: intention.
Silence used to punish or manipulate is very different from silence used to protect peace.
Protective silence is calm.
It doesn't come with threats, explanations, or attempts to change the other person.
It simply creates distance from harm.
Often, choosing silence brings relief.
That relief is important information.
It tells you that the interaction was draining rather than nourishing,
Many people feel guilt when they stop responding.
especially those who've been conditioned to over-explain, manage others' emotions, or keep the peace.
That guilt doesn't mean you're doing something wrong.
It means you're interrupting a familiar pattern.
Silence can feel uncomfortable at first because it removes roles you may have played for a long time.
You're no longer defending.
You're no longer fixing.
You're no longer absorbing tension that doesn't belong to you.
That can feel disorienting.
but it can also feel freeing.
Another important point is that silence doesn't mean the absence of communication forever.
It means choosing when and how to engage.
It means recognizing when communication is no longer mutual.
A healthy exchange allows space for dialogue.
An unhealthy one demands reaction.
When silence restores your sense of calm, clarity, or self-respect, that's worth paying attention to.
Boundaries don't always require words.
Sometimes they require consistency. Sometimes they require,
Require restraint.
and sometimes the most powerful response is none at all.
Choosing silence is not abandonment.
It is alignment with your well-being.
And choosing peace is not avoidance.
It is wisdom.
No matter your age, learning to use silence intentionally is about listening, not to others, but to yourself.
And that skill only deepens with time.
Before we close, we want to say that this conversation doesn't end here.
Silence, boundaries, and self-respect are topics that touch many areas of life, and they often look different depending on where we are in our journey. If something in today's discussion resonated with you, take it as an invitation to reflect gently, without pressure or judgment.
We'll be back soon with another topic, continuing these conversations around relationships, communication, and personal well-being in a thoughtful and practical way.
Until then, take care of yourself, trust what you notice, and remember that choosing peace is always a valid choice.
We look forward to connecting again very soon.